You're looking live at the Hatchet House here in the center of Daviess County, Indiana, and the site of honoring some of the best high school basketball players in southern Indiana today for the HBCA All-Star Game. Today's game is brought to you by Bertram Chiropractic and Wellness, Evansville's exclusive Gonstead Chiropractic Clinic, and by Discover Daviess County. Diverse, dazzling, delicious. Learn more when you log on to visitdaviesscounty.com. Courtside here inside of the Hatchet House alongside Walt Ferber. I'm Kurt Darling. A pleasure to be with you, my friend, as we celebrate some of the best of high school basketball here in southern Indiana.
It's like a holiday. I was fortunate enough to broadcast the very first one when they got this started at Jasper High School, and have done a number of them. I always enjoy coming over here. We see some great ball. They kind of move this around. And I can't think of a better venue than Hatchet House in Washington. I've been here several hundred times. This is your first.
Indeed it is, and it's as good as advertised, to say the least. It has certainly been a bucket list item to get here to watch some basketball. And based on what we saw from the girls' game earlier on here, Walt, it was certainly a fun atmosphere and a fun game to watch. We can only hope for the same here for the boys' game.
Yeah, it is going to be a good one. I tell you, the girls were outstanding. It was back and forth in the girls' game, and then Avery Kelly out of Evansville Memorial went nuts. It was an Avery Kelly 10 and 0 for the East run in the third quarter that gave West the lead they would not relinquish. So if we have anything like that, it's going to be an excellent contest. And looking at the players we have here in game number 2, I know what it's going to be an outstanding game. I do want to give kudos. We have volunteer officials, Pace Jenkins, Paul Irvin, and Tim Lekomsky. I've got to see these guys in southwestern Indiana doing hundreds of games. Pace Jenkins, one of the officials, has also done a state finals game umpired in baseball. Actually, he's been up there twice for that. So it's good with the need of officials in the Indiana High School Athletic Association, where you got guys that are able to do a couple. And these guys, as a matter of fact, Jenkins, Ivan, and Lekomsky have worked together, and I remember a time or two they worked together as a team. So when you get an all-star officiating crew, sometimes you got people that don't work together. These guys know one another's chemistry. So.
You saw the lineups for the West, and you see the lineups for the East right there as well. The head coaches for both of these squads for the West, Todd Wolfley from Terre Haute North in his 17th season now there for the Patriots, and also Nathan Fleener for the West out of Evansville Harrison. And there on your screen, you see the coaches for the East. Aaron Garrett sporting the sling there on his left arm, but also Dave Benter from Brownstown Central, Aaron Garrett from Batesville as well. Between them there, Walt, over 600 wins between them.
Hey, it's going to be fun. Rules, get a few of the rules. All-star coaches attempt to provide as close to equal playing time as possible for the first 3 quarters of the game. The last will be open to the discretion. Boys may play man-to-man defense with no first half pressing. Pressing defense in the second half allowed. Players are permitted 6 personal fouls. Bonus free throws will be shot on the 10th foul of each half. 2 timeouts allowed per half, 1 per overtime. First OT, 3 minutes. Second is sudden death.
So lots of unique rules here as we are underway here in this boys iteration of the HBCA All-Star Games, and the West wasting no time and getting it down low to Malachi McNair out of Evansville Harrison. Averaged 17 points and 10 rebounds per game. Walt, you're pretty good when you're averaging a double-double per game.
Well, I was going to say, you got Coach Fleener here for a reason. First, he's a heck of a coach, but that Harrison team this year was something else. As at the free throw line, you have McNair. And if my remembrances are correct, they knocked my Wildcats out of the tournament this year. So they had a great run, and will draw first blood in this game.
So McNair goes 1 of 2 at the line. He was a 70% foul shooter during this past season. So the East getting their first crack of the ball, and on this East roster is that of Jack Benter, who is, of course, the son of Dave Benter, who is a coach for this squad. And Benter going right at the rim and showing once again why he is a contender for the Mr. Basketball honors later on here.
They know how to play basketball at Brownstown. They have for a long time. And that was a heck of a move to the bucket.
So here is the West trying to get their first field goal of the afternoon. And it's tipped up and stolen away here for the East. That is Parker Heyman, who gets it to his Brownstown Central teammate in Benter again.
Benter hit both buckets, and he was also on the defensive deflection on the other side. He's done it all.
Sweeping it up here is McNair. Spin move inside, and he puts it off the glass.
And he's got all the points for the West.
So it's basically Jack Benter versus Malachi McNair here in the early going, as the three ball doesn't fall for Noah Lovin from Providence.
That took one of the biggest bounces I have ever seen to come back and all the way top to the scoreboard, up and down.
Pulling up from the elbow there was Cavish Reddy, one of the Terre Haute North players on this roster for Coach Todd Wolfley. Again, Wolfley, 233 wins in his 17th season now as the head coach of the Patriots. Of course, one of those ready. As the inbound comes into McNair, it goes out of bounds, though, again, off of the feet of Noah Lovin. So again, two 20-minute halves being played here today. A loose form of college rules. No shot clock here today, though, because the shot clock apparatchik is not installed here inside of the Hatchet House, and there's a nicely taken three ball there by Connor O'Gwyn out of Bloomington North.
We're stroking from downtown. Both teams back-to-back. That fell out of Brownstown.
That was Parker Heyman. So it's all Brownstown Central players on the scoring duties for the East so far. And that's one thing to remember here, Walt Ferber. Of course, a lot of these players just making the trek down I-69 from taking part in the Hoosier Basketball Top 60 workout, as Heyman can't make a three ball there, but also they're still fresh off the season compared to the girls' game that we had just a little bit ago, where they have had over a month off before coming into this event.
You could tell it because they're looking pretty fresh, and Benter has had a lot of good looks here early for the East.
Here's Braden Knepp as he leaves that one short, so a lot of three balls taken here, but on the follow-up there that time is Josiah Dunham out of Evansville Christian.
He turned Evansville Christian into one of the best programs in Southern Indiana. He's a good one.
Spin move inside off the take there from Wyatt Zellers, and the follow-up doesn't go there for Noah Lovin. Of course, Wyatt Zellers out of Scottsburg, not to be confused with one of the Zeller brothers that have played a lot of games inside this particular venue.
That's a name you hear a lot in this building, and they all did a heck of a job. And may say that I, over the years, have been fortunate. They are a wonderful family. Lori Zeller, the mother of the three Zellers, was the athletic secretary at Washington for many, many years.
Noah Lovin hits both foul shots. So there's a 5-point lead here now for the East in the early going. Three ball up and in that time. This time Josiah Dunham, as we mentioned before.
He can rain them from all over the court.
Turnaround jumper doesn't go for Lovin again from Providence. Bringing it up is Dunham. And Reddy from Terre Haute North lets it fly, and that goes out of play. Cavish Reddy had a buzzer-beating shot versus Plainfield during the middle of the season. He was the Gary Fears Most Outstanding Player of the Wabash Valley Classic, which is one of the prestigious holiday tournaments played during the regular season.
They play a lot of basketball in Terre Haute over those several days.
Benter cutting inside, blocked though at the rim there by Malachi McNair, and McNair getting a little too aggressive there. He gets the foul. Heck of a start from behind the arc here. Benter getting things going from deep.
Oh my, and that's what you call the shooter's roll. Both these guys are firing it up, and there you see Heyman. And another one from the west, that's Josiah Dunham.
As Benter makes both foul shots.
I've seen the legend of Josiah Dunham. We had a classic at Oakland City University he played in and lit things up.
Still going from deep there is O'Gwyn that time, as Dunham will come away with the rebound. Long pass across the court, and Reddy can't get that one to fall in, as Benter will bring it back up. Kasem Nash pulls up in transition. Kasem Nash out of Borden. Shot 86% from the foul line this season, so he knows how to shoot from all over the floor.
There's some really good. We've got the young man from Evansville Christian. You've got Nash out of Borden. Great small school basketball.
Benter coming off of the steal. Hits it up underneath, trying to find it to the streaking Zellers. No dice there. Long pass back the other way, and Josiah Dunham, the commit to USI next year, making
already
it go.
Got 7 points, and I'm looking forward to getting to call a few of his games next year.
Benter leaves it now for Zellers. And Nash along the baseline. Can't get that one to go. Here is Braden Knepp of Bar Reeve. Small school basketball, as you mentioned, Mr. Ferber. Blocked in the other way, that time by Zellers. Streaking it up. Lovin leaving it underneath. Cutting inside is Zellers.
You talked about Knepp. I had one game in the 80s where I had 5 Knepps on the court for Bar Reeve at the same time. They've all been good.
Blocker Concrete congratulates many of the players here, but also Blocker Concrete congratulates many of the players representing their teams today in today's HBCA All-Star Game. Blocker Concrete is your local flatwork specialist at 502-333-5223.
A tornado misfiring there for the West.
And again, line changes here. As you mentioned, Mr. Ferber, it'll be equal playing time as much as they can get it to here for the first 30 minutes of this ball game.
And then it's a free-for-all for the last 10.
So Tucker Tornado out of Evansville Harrison. He averaged 16 a contest as well as 10 rebounds a game. So another one of these players averaging a double-double, but nicely done taken there by Jacob Seward of Clarksville.
You get that ball at the elbow, and he's going to knock down about 99% of those.
Seward had 40 points against Austin during the regular season, 7th all-time in scoring in school history at Clarksville.
West needs a bucket here. They don't want this to be a double-digit lead for the East.
It has certainly gotten a little bit away from them there if you're the West as that goes out of bounds. Wisely letting it go there is Aiden Head of Henryville, and he brings it back the other way. Another player averaging a double-double this past season.
Yeah, you know, West needs early, but the West need to stop here. Psychologically, you don't want that thing to get over 10.
Long three ball that time goes from Cole Sigler, not there from Jennings County. Bounce pass into the corner. This is Andrew Noblet out of Jasper.
Noblet, the whole family. His grandpa was the principal, and you just go right down the line. Andy Noblet, one of my favorite folks, as that is hit by Head.
And that's a two-pointer there by Tornado.
And Andy Noblet has actually done some color analyst games with me in the past. Big sports family, and Andrew, one of the top pitchers in the state this year in baseball.
So Aiden Head back on the other side, hits that two-pointer, trying to answer with a three. That time is Julian Gish out of Pike Central. Can't get that one to fall.
Well, Gish really led a good Pike Central team this year.
Letting it fly from deep that time is Seward. Nothing there. And so it is still an 11-point ball game here with the East on top and more turnovers from the West on the other side. Tip back away, somehow gets into the hands of Xavier Alston out of Orleans. And he comes up empty.
Now, Tornado got that, a big turnaround, and the West needs to capitalize on this opportunity.
So here is Quade Morton from Pike Central. He finds Tornado, and he gets it stolen away that time from Head. Inside, Head from the elbow, and he hits.
He's got a quick release. And you get him set up, I got a feeling he can knock those down all day.
13-point lead now here for the East. Letting it fly from deep again is Julian Gish. He was a 35% three-point shooter this past season out of Pike Central. Nothing but net that time from Ian Hall.
They're on fire right now and have over doubled the score.
8 players have already scored here for the East. Tornada cutting it to the rim that time is Noblet, and he can't connect. Alston screaming down the court, right down the lane.
That was one heck of a move by Xavier Austin.
Make it 9 players that have scored, but now finally breaking the stalemate there was Zay Baker. So we're trying to keep up here with everything, with how fast the pace has been moving, but so far the East just completely pummeling from all points of the ball here as they finally come up short, but still another turnover by the West.
Nice back tap gives the East the ball back. You can't look down on this thing. They're going at it hard.
Hall misses there. 2 players for Orleans on this East roster from Alston and Ian Hall. Zay Baker pushes it into the corner. 3 on the way, nothing from Gish. Offensive rebound by Tornada, and he gets fouled from behind.
One big thing is the East is hitting their three-point shots, and the West have had some. And I know I've seen Gish this year. He is able to hit a lot, and you're going to at least get a chance here as Tornada out of Evansville Memorial is going to go to the foul line.
Again, Tucker Tornada, only a 65% foul shooter this past season. First team All-Southern Indiana, committed to play at Marion next year, at least for now. Of course, Scott Heddy getting the new job at the University of Indianapolis, but still, so far, Tornada committed to play for the Marion Knights next year.
Finally stopped the bleeding a little bit as they get their first point. The transfer portal anymore, you don't know. It's like Indiana weather.
Of course, it's slightly different with the NAIA,
Yes.
but still, it can go anywhere with national letters of intent. Gish along the baseline, outside to Tornada, who lets it go from deep, leaves it short.
I do NAIA basketball with Oakland City. There's a lot of great basketball in the NAIA.
It certainly is. So in transition, there's a stoppage in play for some substitutions here. Again, some more line changes as you get equal playing time amongst all the players here. And so the starting lineups for both squads back out on the floor.
And right now you want a little run if you're the West. East have been playing like a well-oiled machine.
Here is McNair with the hook shot inside.
That'll work. 5 points for McNair.
So hopefully the West can get a little bit of a run here off of that hook shot from Tornada as the 3 doesn't fall from Kasem Nash on the other side.
You talked about the shot clock. We don't need one in this game.
No, we don't. There's plenty of shots being taken in both possessions as we go out of play.
The poor shot clock guy would have a tired thumb by now.
No kidding. So Connor O'Gwyn takes it out here from Bloomington North. And poked out of bounds there by Jack Benter. And
that fella has impressed me big time so far in this game.
Jack Benter, he put up 25 points in the state finals in their big state finals victory for the Braves in Class 2A. He put up 35 points in the semi-state against Park Heritage, a game in which he had 103-degree fever.
Well, he was hot every way possible in that game.
Quite literally. 2 3-pointers don't go from Gwynn and Dunham. And another empty possession from the West. Some great ball movement here from the East on the other side as Benter steps back, 2-pointer on the way, and he hits it.
2-point basket, Jack Benter.
He continues his excellent play, no doubt about that.
Here is Reddy. Leaves it underneath McNair on the delay.
7 points for McNair.
So into the corner. As the East continues to move the ball here with 8 minutes left to play here in this first half. Scooping up and scoring there that time is Caden Muckerhide out of North Decatur.
They're just not missing. I think the size of the East is bothering the West a little bit in this. They are big.
Braden Knepp leaves it short.
It's one and done.
So far here, Walt Ferber, every player except 2 out of all of the available players for the East have scored. One of them, of course, being Jack Benter.
He's at 9 now.
Nifty pass underneath as McNair is able to size it home.
He's been the offense for the West, leading their way with 9.
Benter leaving it deep that time from NBA range, and he can't get that one to fall.
The way he's playing, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad shot.
Shots coming left and right here as we keep going up and down the floor with haste. Zellers lets it fly from deep, no dice. McNair back the other way.
And he is in double figures. 11 points.
Parker Heyman tries his chances again from deep. So here is Josiah Dunham out of Evansville Christian. He can't get the friendly roll either. 12-point lead here for the East as Jack Benter gets nudged there by Dunham. Well, welcome to the Indiana communities thriving along the I-69 corridor, offering recreation, sports, arts, and culture. Welcome to Daviess County, and yes, you are in the right place. Log on to discoverdavies.com to learn more. Zellers thinks better of the 3, tries to go one-on-one here with McNair, and can't quite get the up and under.
McNair playing well on both sides of the ball. Good defense.
Reddy leaves it underneath for McNair, and everybody thinking better of that one.
How'd you like the way he cleared space? He got in there and went, yeah, I need to clear everybody out a little bit.
He worked pretty hard for that clear out,
yes.
too.
And I think he enjoyed that. Gets it back to 10.
Of course, the one thing about this all-star game here, Walt Ferber, is that with kind of a little bit of a more looser atmosphere, we've already played 15 minutes in this ball game.
It's going boom, boom, boom. Playing like it's double parked.
Kasem Nash outside to Benter. Zellers lets it fly, nothing there. Pushing ahead, and how about the flush this time from Malachi McNair?
15 points for McNair, and it's back to a single-digit lead.
He has scored half of the points for the West in this ball game. Meanwhile, Jack Benter trying to get his own stat book going as well. He has had a nice first quarter.
He's in double figures himself. He's got 11. And
the first half, I should say.
That single-digit stuff didn't last very long, did it?
No, it did not. Spinning inside is Connor O'Gwyn, trying to find his opening, and he finally is able to get the scoop, but not the score.
3 white shirts around him, though. No easy shot.
Benter from the logo. How about it?
14 points for Benter. It's one you'd see Caitlin Clark hitting today.
Substitution timeout here as we take a look at this shot again from Benter, standing in the middle of the W.
That's just a wow. That'd be a Globetrotter 4.
Again, Jack Benter, certainly a contender for the Mr. Basketball honors. Another one looking for those as well would be Flory Badunga out of Kokomo. We'll see how that plays out here as the coming weeks progress through the All-Star season. Meanwhile, play continuing here as a couple missed shots on the other end here as into the corner. Here is Noblet again from Jasper. He averaged 15 a game for the Wildcats.
That's his spot right over there in the corner. He's hit a bunch of them over there.
Leaving it short there was Ian Hall out of Orleans. Holding it here in the high post is Tornada.
He scored just a moment ago.
And we got a foul and a stoppage in play here as Sigler got a hand there on Tornada. Up top here is Zay Baker out of Terre Haute South. Terre Haute well represented here in this HBCA All-Star game as Noblet is able to get the finish.
Gets two, and that was a zip, no-look pass for the bucket. Now back to a 9-point lead.
Lovin out of Providence in the lane, meandering around, and he gets that one to fall. Lovin, a 1,000-point score out of Providence.
That's as much of a meandering as you could possibly see. 5 points for Lovin.
Noblet from his spot there, Walt Ferber.
His father pitched for the University of Evansville. His brother Philip was the starting tight end for Rose Holman. And mother, one of the best basketball players to come out of Vincennes Rivet ever, played basketball at Evansville. I know I missed a few.
I'd say that's more than enough accolade. Of course, this event all about the accolades, celebrating some of the best of Southern Indiana high school basketball here with some excellent players, one of them being Noah Lovin from Providence again.
His second three of the ball game and 8 points for him.
Spinning inside from the elbow is Julian Gish. Can't quite get the Hatchet House roll that time. Long passes underneath as Alston waits for his opportunity.
One thing that impresses the Dickens out of me is the passing. It is bullet perfect passing.
And that's going to be a blocking foul there on Lovin, even though Tornada establishing a little bit of hard presence down low right there, and he's going to go to the line.
Underneath is not a place for the faint of heart.
We'll take a look at this right here. You can see a little bit of elbow action right there from Tornada.
You get that much of a roll. What do you think out of a scoot of about a foot there?
Give or take.
6 points for Tucker Tornada out of Evansville Memorial.
4 of them at the charity stripe. Here is Aiden Head from just inside the arc, leaves it short, and that will bounce out of play. Well, Bertram Chiropractic and Wellness congratulates all the players representing Evansville and the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference in today's game. Bertram Chiropractic and Wellness is Evansville's exclusive Gonstead Chiropractic Clinic. Give Dr. Matt Bertram a call to schedule your visit at 812-464-4470 or visit BertramChiropractic.com today.
Bertram family, some excellent athletes at a Castle in a number of sports, especially soccer.
Here is Zay Baker. His pass tipped up, stolen away by Head. Head pushes it ahead to Alston, who more or less gets a flush right there. Either way, it's 2 points.
I think he was thinking about putting it down and went, well, I better get the 2 points for sure.
Noblet in a lot of traffic, gets it to fall.
Andrew with a big bucket there, showing his patience.
On the pick and roll, blocked that time though, but Head leaves it for Alston, and he's able to clean things up.
8 points for Alston already. And
Back
Tornado,
the other way.
it didn't take long for Tornado there.
8 points now for Tornado this first half. Spinning inside, Alston trying to get some pick and roll action as well, and he puts that off his foot.
We're on pace to punch 100 here, maybe by both teams.
It was certainly not a surprise in that regard.
No.
You typically expect a lot of offense from games like this. Zay Baker lets it fly from the top of the key. Here comes Lovin, working on Noblet. And he leaves it there for Ian Hall out of Orleans, nothing there. Noblet cutting inside and has it to Gish.
Andrew Noblet with 6 points so far. Good, solid basketball. His father, longtime varsity assistant coach for the boys team.
Pulling up from the charity stripe there was Lovin, but on the putback again, and Xavier Alston making his living today on the cleanup.
And the young man from Orleans has 10 points. He's in double figures already.
Here is Zay Baker trying to draw the foul at the buzzer. It does not fall, but still competitive first half as it's an 11-point lead for the West, or for the East over the West here in the HBCA All-Star Game. Live from the Hatchet House, back in a moment here on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Never let the world dictate who you are, what your why is. Failure isn't possible as long as you believe in your why. This adventure is yours. Create it, make it yours. Make it powerful, make it count. Create your own adventure. S-V-I-D.
When I was a little girl, I always knew that Davies County was home.
We grew up in East Germany. When the wall came down, we took our chances for travel. We moved to the United States. The first 5 years went so fast.
And after 10 years, it is 30 years by now, and we are still here, and Davies County is home.
The two things that make companies successful is money and talent. And if you never run out of talent, you'll never run out of money. So it never dawned on me to set up our company anywhere different than Davies County, Indiana.
I started playing music at a young age, and I've traveled around the country, but I moved to Montgomery in 2015, and the more of the world that we get to see and the more opportunities that open up for us, there's really still just no place like coming home.
So at Artisan Electronics, we support the Navy all across the world from our location here in Davies County at the Westgate at Crane Technology Park. And just as important to our location are the people that we employ to support the warfighter. We find the people here in Central Indiana be top-notch quality of talent.
It's just a strong community.
For the last 182 years, Davies County has been home for our families. And to see my children raise their children on the property here, it's really makes the guy feel good.
Up in Indianapolis, I found myself working. Down here, there's more of a work-family balance. I think that was the biggest draw, is that I could still practice my orthopedics at a very high level. However, I still was able to coach my kids, get the ball games, be involved in all activities.
It was very important for us that no matter what our children do, what they become, where they go to college, that they get every opportunity that we can give them, and I knew that they would get that at Davies County from preschool to 12th grade.
If you can find a place like Washington, a place that's this close, that you have people that support you and you support them, and you can make a difference to people, you know, that's what I love about coming back home and being here, and that's why I always want to stay.
So now when people ask, why Davies County, it's all because of the people.
We are.
We are.
Davies.
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 Davies County.
It's halftime here inside the Hatchet House here on the ISC Sports Network. Walt Ferber will join me here in just a matter of moments. I'm Kurt Darling, joined by Joe Morris here from Visit Daviess County, and of course we are Daviess County as well, who was happy enough to bring us some Bobe's Pizza here from here in Washington County. Some great pizza from the locals here in this wonderful community, and of course this wonderful county, wonderful gymnasium. Joe, lots to do here in Daviess County. A pleasure being here and having this great event.
I'm so glad you're here, your family's here, and your sidekicks and partners, but we're glad to have ISC Sports Network here. Anytime your team comes to town to do a broadcast, not only to showcase the top talent and student athletes and all the other activities and clubs and sports, but it gives us an opportunity to talk about Daviess County. And we are DaviessCounty.com's who we are. Check us out. But this is a big, big weekend for us and the rest of the United States and the globe with the Great Eclipse 2024. So those activities are going on this weekend. We've got things happening at Discover Downtown Washington, the Odin Business Alliance, West Boggs, Gostoff Amish Village has a big event going on, the Corny Irish Heritage, White River Valley Antique Association, and we also kicked off our Spring Youth Flag Football League today. So it's been a great weekend, and it's great to have these All-Stars here today.
And of course, you know, a lot of them, you and I were talking before the broadcast here today of just about how the community has just changed and grown because of all of the events and stuff happening here. And of course, I-69, a big contributor to that as well. Just what has it been like recently for the community of Washington as well as the community of Daviess County with all of this stuff just contributing to the growth here in this?
Well, as you know, you raised your family right now in a very great area and community and county. What you see with Daviess County, we're nestled perfectly between Bloomington and Evansville, right off 69. And a lot of folks don't know, with the third largest naval installation in the world with Crane, and the defense industry and technology and innovation happen there in North County, that multi-billion-dollar sector. But on the east side of the county, what we call the skilled trade zone at Odin-Kenneburg Road, you got a multi-billion-dollar industry there with the skilled trades, and then you got the history of downtown Washington, downtown as a community as a whole, and historic southern Indiana, and all wrapped up into one. We're a very unique community. We're very business friendly, but we want people to visit Daviess County. We're really just a tank of gas away, and you can come and enjoy all this. It's not just Bobe's, it's Mason's, it's White Steamer, it's the Gostoff, it's Neps. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but come hungry and come ready to have some fun.
I can vouch for the White Steamer, by the way. Fantastic burgers, fully loaded.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, exactly. But of course, also, you know, there's lots to watch here with this particular community here in Washington. Of course, you being the football coach at Washington here, of course, you guys are really excited for your season coming.
Well, we're not only excited for that, but we're excited for our program and our community. You know, I got here in 2020, and Greg Rakestraw, my good friend, my fellow Greyhound, you know, knows the story, and Jan does as well. But what we've done in our program is not just good for football, but it's good for all of our student athletes, whether it be the expansion of our weight room or the new Hatchet Hollow renovation expansion. And when you look at it, I know it sounds cliche because we've heard it over the last several years, but between the Hatchet House and Hatchet Hollow, who's got it better than Washington? It's a great day to be a Hatchet.
Absolutely. Where can people find out more about Daviess County?
Go to wearedaviesscounty.com or visit daviesscounty.com. And those two sites alone will give you a lot of information. We just hope you come and take a visit, come hungry, and come ready to have fun.
Joe Morris, a pleasure, my friend.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having us here as well. That is Joe Morris with wearedaviesscounty.com and economic development and everything else that goes on here. He is the man to know about that as well. Getting set for the second half here of the HBCA All-Star Game. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the second half right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Never let the world dictate who you are, what your why is. Failure isn't possible as long as you believe in your why. This adventure is yours. Create it, make it yours. Make it powerful, make it count. Create your own adventure. S-V-I-D.
Back inside the Hatchet House here as we're getting some halftime accolades, recognizing some of the coaches here today. Of course, Todd Wolfley and Nathan Fleener from the West, Dave Benter and Aaron Garrett from the East getting their respective recognition for being named Coaches of the Year from their district. Alongside Walt Ferber, I'm Kurt Darling. Walt, 20 more minutes of basketball here to be played, and the West has a little bit of work to do here in this All-Star competition.
The East played like a well-oiled machine. Jack Benner out of Brownstown, couple of trays, 14 points. He hit the last one he hit would have been a Globetrotter 4. It's, as I call it, Caitlin Clark territory from downtown. And for the West, McNair kept him in the ball game. He fell out of Harrison. So strap it down. This is going to be a good second half.
By the way, for those of you choosing to watch today's competition over the NCAA Women's National Championship game today, of course, you mentioned Caitlin Clark there, Walton. Fortunately for Iowa Hawkeye fans, they came up short today as South Carolina, the champions of the NCAA Women's National Tournament over Iowa here today.
Undefeated for the year.
Undefeated indeed.
Nobody came close to them, and I don't know the score today, but until today, nobody came close.
Here is Jack Benter, though. Nobody's really been able to come close to his skill level today as he goes right to the rim and draws the foul.
I tee him up for you, my friend.
And I hit the beach ball right back. That's exactly how it works. A little inside baseball on broadcasting. That's the tired cliche amongst our broadcasters. We just bounce the beach ball back and forth. By the way, South Carolina winning by 12 in that game.
So it continues. Nobody came close to South Carolina this year. They were a really outstanding squad. I guess Indiana played them about as good as anybody.
Indeed, yeah. In fact, at Assembly Hall, Indiana was actually able to beat Iowa this year. So it was certainly one to watch. Certainly one to watch here inside the Hatchet House as the West trying to cut into this lead here that was built up by the East in the first 20 minutes of this ball game. Again, we're still in equal playing time rules here for the next 9 minutes or so. Then after the final 10 minutes or so, it will be anything goes as far as substitutions for these two squads.
I tell you, it looked several times like the East was going to run away and hide, and whenever that happens, the West come up with a little bit of run. So this could be an interesting finish.
Working inside, no dice there for the West. Running in transition, Zellers off the feed from Benter.
4 points for Zellers, young man out of Scottsburg.
It's hard to believe Zellers only has 4 points after the amount of really good shots he had in the first half. Zay Baker can't connect from the top of the key.
West does not hit behind the arc today.
Zellers, he's going to try from behind the arc, and he connects.
He just added 3 to the total. 7 for him now.
Inside, McNair getting a little bit more pressure put on him this time as he was dominant in that first half. He scored almost half of the points for the West in that first half.
You know these are good coaches, and they're going to make alterations at halftime. And McNair's going to find, would be surprised if he didn't find it a little more difficult in the second half.
McNair going to try and shoot a 3 ball that time. He opts better of it. Instead, looks to his teammate from Terre Haute North, Reddy, and he can't get that one to go either.
And from 3, they couldn't hit water if they were in a boat today.
Neither can Parker Heyman that time. He was a 41% three-point shooter this past season for Brownstown Central. Stolen away here by Mucker Hyde.
Had 3 white shirts in front of McNair there.
Jack Benter off the fake. He's going to be going to Purdue next year to play for the Boilermakers, who of course will be playing in a pretty big game tomorrow against UConn in the national championship.
Fair size game, yes.
Just a little bit out there in Phoenix. Shot doesn't fall for Zellers. Long pass to McNair, running in transition.
Well, that's one way to get things started, is to have a perfect transition pass. 17 for Malachi McNair.
Transition 3 by Heyman doesn't fall. Here's Julian Gish. Trying to go one-on-one here with Jacob Seward out of Clarksville. McNair from the foul line. He can shoot it as well as lay it up.
It appears the West are making a little bit of an adjustment now to get McNair open.
And still, though, it is a 13-point deficit they have to overcome. Gish from the wing leaves it short again. Ready on the offensive rebound, though. Here, Baker from up top. He's 0 for 4 from behind the arc now.
You think sooner or later you got to have one fall. They just cannot hit from downtown.
McNair again on the dish, waits, draws the foul, gets the and one.
Does it get any better than that? He waited for the contact, went through the contact, gets the bucket and the foul.
So this will put McNair at the line for an and one opportunity. Already 6 points in the first 4 minutes of this second half.
That was Heyman picking up the foul.
Malachi McNair, of course, his hero growing up was Pat Graham, who went on to be a pretty big player at IU in his day.
And he's helped coach some of the teams down at Evansville, mostly Evansville Memorial.
On the follow-up is Mucker Hyde.
My neck of the woods out of Floyd Central High School. Guess if Pat Graham's coaching you, you're probably going to pay attention.
He was an assistant actually on and off here for Evansville Harrison as well. Mucker Hyde, long in transition, nothing there, but Zellers there for the putback.
Good solid rebounding. 9 points for Zellers.
7 in this half. Zay Baker runs right into some solid defense there from Caden Mucker Hyde. Mucker Hyde out of North Decatur became North Decatur's all-time leading scorer, scoring 33 points in the sectional. Reddy tracks down his own rebound. Malachi McNair yet again.
Where would they be without his 24 points?
24 points in 25 minutes. That's a pretty good day here, as once again we will have a stoppage for a lineup transition. Well, welcome to Indiana, the community's thriving along the I-69 corridor, offering recreation, sports, arts, and culture. Welcome to Daviess County, and yes, you are in the right place. Log on today to discover Daviess County, and wearedaviesscounty.com to learn more.
That was Head out of Henryville. Aiden Head, he's got 6.
He only had 4 in the first half, but letting it fly that time is Josiah Dunham, who was quiet from behind the arc. Here in the first half, he's starting to heat up.
He is the only, one of 2 people to hit threes for the West, the other being Connor O'Quinn.
From the elbow, well short that time was Head for the East. Here comes Dunham again. Josiah Dunham trying to scoop the pass around, looking for Miller that time. Nothing there. Spinning in, laying it up. Nope, not there for Lovin.
Tornado, really good defensive play.
Tornado up top, 3 up, not down there for Gish. But the loose ball tracked down there by Noblet somehow gets poked nearly out of bounds, and they say that it is. That time off of the hands of Kasem Nash out of Borden.
Not surprised on Andrew there. Noblet is a blue-collar ball player. Will do anything he can to help his ball club.
Noblet has certainly done a lot here for the West off the bench today. Here is Dunham along the right side of the lane, and he gets it swatted away. Tracked down here by Alston. Ian Hall spinning inside, and he'll draw the foul.
Played to the contact, and O'Quinn picking it up.
Of course, you mentioned Connor O'Quinn. 16 points a contest. He had 30 against Evansville Bosse, also an all-state tennis player. Meanwhile, Ian Hall out of Orleans, 1 double-double this season versus Southridge. He had a season-high 18 points against Bar Reeve this year out for Orleans. He misses both foul shots there, though. Three doesn't go that time for O'Quinn.
The three's just flat out not falling.
Lovin in the corner. And it's certainly not falling on both ends here as Nash comes up empty. Tornada loses the handle, swats it up, and Alston comes away with the loose ball. That time, shot falls there for the East.
Noah Lovett in double figures, 10 points for him.
So the East has maintained a well over 10-point deficit here as trying to cut it in there is Julian Gish.
And he's finally on the board. He led Pike Central to some unrealistic wins over some big-time powers this year.
He was the offensive MVP out of the Pocket Athletic Conference this past season. 1,153 career points for Gish.
And played through injury through a part of the season.
Top of the key three is good that time for Noblet.
Noblet now with 9 points.
Trying to answer from an identical shot there was that time Nash, but he can't replicate it. Still though, the West now cuts it back to within 10. They are down by 8. Now make it down by 7 as Tornada will get the end one opportunity. And just like that here, Walt, we're back inside a 10-point game here if you're the West.
Big move by Tucker Tornada of Evansville Memorial as we look at that one more time. Good upper body strength. Couldn't quite finish the three-point play.
He's now 4 of 5 at the line today. The West trailed by as many as 13 points in this game. They've cut that deficit in half here as Lovin can't get the turnaround jumper to go, and it's out of bounds off the shoulder of Alston.
You know, if there's a 3 hit on this shot, it's a one-possession game.
That's certainly, but you're asking too a lot there with hitting
they
a
haven't hit
three-pointer.
many, but I'm just, it could.
Tornada thinking about the aforementioned 3. Instead, he's going to go all hard inside and draw the foul there on Aiden Head.
But where it was, we were talking about a 14-point advantage just a minute ago. And a run by the West to put them right smack in the middle of things. We're a minute and 15 seconds away of game clock from playing this. It's dealer's choice now as far as the coaches. First 30 minutes, everybody gets pretty much equal playing time.
Tucker Tornada, 12 double-doubles this past season. He had 7 in a row to end the season for Evansville Memorial.
12 points for Tucker Tornada.
By the way, thanks to our producer, Jordan Shue, keeping us surprised that it's an 20-8 run right now for the West.
Jordan's a pretty good dude. He makes me look a lot smarter than I am.
He makes us all look a lot smarter than we actually are, as Nash able to get one to fall there from just inside the arc.
Yeah, Nash with a big bucket when they really needed it, and he has 5 points.
And now we have a foul on a 3-point shot here from the West, and that was Josiah Dunham putting it up from deep, so he'll have 3 shots.
He's a pretty doggone good foul shooter. I am looking forward to seeing that young man for 4 years at USI.
Josiah Dunham scored 33 points in Evansville Christian's, and that was 33 out of their 44 points in the semi-state in which they lost to Bar Reeve. He was 14 points shy all-time in scoring for the state behind James Blackman Jr. out of Fort Wayne Lures.
And when you say the name Blackman, those fellas can play some pretty good basketball.
Just a little bit. So Dunham goes 2 for 2 at the line. And the West comes up empty on another possession. Dunham from the elbow. Josiah Dunham putting the team on his back here in this second half.
He's heating up. That's 15 points for Dunham.
7 of which here are in this second half here with 10 minutes left to play here in this HBCA All-Star game.
And it's a one-possession ball game.
You mentioned it earlier, partner. And Lovin fouled going to the basket. So this will put Lovett at the line here, I believe, for 2 shots as we get a couple substitutions here. So right at the 10-minute mark here, that means we can do one last line change before we go to regular substitution rules.
And it's going to be some kind of finish, no doubt about that.
And mind you here, Walt, a lot of this run here by the West has been while Jack Benter for the East has been on the bench.
That thought had occurred to me. He is one of the best I have seen this year.
Five-point game into the final 10 minutes. So here is Quade Morton. We haven't been able to say his game name a lot here today. He's also from out of Pike Central. Averaged 17 a game for them. Underneath McNair again. He is a player that we have seen a lot of here today.
26 points, and that's some mighty fine passing there.
That's also 26 points and counting, mind you. As he also gathers a rebound as well. 3-point game. The West has come screaming back in this one as Cole Sigler will get dinged with the foul there out of Jennings County.
Morton saw he had him on his hip, and you know, if you're a good basketball player, you're going to take that every time. Gets another foul on Morton. But you get 6.
Again, 6 fouls, NBA foul rules here. As that is a hard basket there by Kavish Reddy. And that is his first bucket of the evening.
I'm not the sharpest math guy in the house, but if I'm correct, if he hits this free throw, I think we're tied.
I would believe you're correct.
That's some comeback.
That is. They were down by as many as 13 points, but Reddy unable to convert and get that game-tying bucket. So Jack Benter running the point here now for the East. Trying to stop the bleeding here as he goes right down the right side of the lane. Can't get the finish.
We could have a lead change here.
Reddy in the corner. And he's going to direct a little bit of traffic. And who else but McNair to try and get that lead? Instead, they kick it back outside to Braden Knepp, who gets the roll off the 3.
They teach him how to do that at Bar Reeve High School. They shoot thousands of those.
Pretty opportune time to get his first points of the afternoon. And
we got a new leader.
75-73, the West on top as Jack Benter will touch that one out of play. So the West getting their wits about them here as they go into the final 8:25.
This is fun. This is good stuff here today.
Zay Baker finally gets one to fall on his 6th three-point attempt today. That's his first bucket. Actually, his second, excuse me. He has 6.
78-73. And the East need to answer here.
Benter off the glass. He has gone cold from the field. Baker right down the lane. Nothing there, but on the pushback there was Braden Knepp.
He's got 5 and they're all big.
By the way, the last time they led was 1-0 at the beginning of the game. Meanwhile, the East getting back into it a little bit there.
Heyman getting a couple there, and he's got 5, but they're still down by 5.
Pass goes right off the noggin of McNair and into the hands here of Heyman. Heyman lets it fly with hands in his face, a little too strong. And that will go out of play.
Once again, there's no more even playing time. Though you couldn't go wrong with any player on either one of these teams.
This is the first time I've been able to see Malachi McNair play this season, and he has certainly been impressive.
He's a beast underneath, isn't he?
He averaged 17 points, 10 rebounds a game. He had a season-high 32 points in a interstate matchup between Evansville, Harrison, and Springfield Southeastern out of Illinois. Hard to take that time by Quade Morton. And that will put him at the line.
Once again, fighting through the contact. Pike Central had an outstanding season for them this year. Morton, as you said, big time scorer and looking to get on the board here in the HBCA All-Star game.
And Morton will do precisely that. And even though we are under normal substitution rules here, Coach Benter and Coach Garrett opting to keep with the line change.
Hey,
and same thing on the other side from the West.
You tell me out there who you wouldn't put in the game.
Well,
I mean,
they're all-stars for a reason. So we'll have one more substitution as Noblet will come in for Gish after he takes this final free throw. But still, it has been a comeback to remember right here for the West. They were down by as many as 13 points, and now they are ahead by 7.
And isn't this a great game? I mean, you were wondering there if the West could get back into it. And, you know, the East can come back just as fast.
Lovin can't go again as the East have gone cold from the field. Meanwhile, the West keep getting hotter as Connor O'Gwyn knocks down another 3.
Assist by Andrew Noblet, got to rebound the transition and put O'Quinn in the perfect spot.
By the way, every available player for the West has now scored. Still nothing falling here for the East on this side, and Walt, it might be this end of the floor here as Lovin gets a steal and he'll throw it up and miss the shot. But you might remember the West had this bucket to go to in the first half and they couldn't score. Maybe it's something about a lid being on this end of the floor here.
It could be. But you've got Lovett, who is in double figures, has had a couple from downtown, a chance.
He went 0 for 2 his last trip to the line, though. And now make it 0 for 3 here in this half.
You know, it's the normal thing when you say things like that, they hit it. I bet she hits this one.
Well, he gets the physics to go.
I'm not that smart, but anybody that good is not going to miss 4 straight.
Meanwhile, the West trying to keep cruising here in the final 5.5 minutes as Noblet loads it up. Looks it too strong that time. Tornada comes down with the rebound. Tornada working inside on the mismatch. He actually gets tripped up down low. And they're going to call that out of bounds and back to the East.
Yeah, East can get it closer here.
Jacob Seward out of Clarksville. Here's Levin inside.
That was a wild move there by the young man from Clarksville, Providence.
The town of Clarksville well represented again. Jacob Seward and Levin in this ball game here today. Again, you have players represented all over the southern Indiana counties, from as far south as New Albany and Evansville all the way up to the southern part of Johnson County as Seward is able to connect from deep.
He's the Clarksville dude. Yes, talked about that representation, and representing they are.
Tornada, step back jumper from just inside the lane.
And the answer just when they needed it, as that's 14 points for Tucker Tornada.
So the East has gotten a few things together offensively, at least for a moment, but Levin leaves that one short. Josiah Dunham trying to get the nifty pass underneath to his teammate Noblet. Miscalculated only slightly. Here's Nash left alone, and he hits.
Borden, one of the great small school programs year in and year out. His father, the coach of that team. Not surprised he can shoot like that.
Tornada outside. Dunham can also shoot.
Oh, yeah. He's at 17 points.
Wow, from deep that time, the logo. There was Kasem Nash, just like his teammate in Benter. He can also go from deep. And now it is back to a 3-point game. 3 letting it fly. Off the mark that time from O'Gwyn, but on the follow-up. Nicely done there from Dunham.
I'd almost give O'Gwyn the assist on that the way it came back to Dunham.
Turnover on the other end. Loose ball fought for, and Seward comes down with it. Into the final 3 minutes. Here's Dunham. Step back, lets it go. Nothing there. Nash going up inside and swatted out there by Noblet. Pushed ahead. Off the end, alley-oop attempt there to Tornada. Leaves it a little long. And Lovin has the easy lay in the other way.
That alley-oop worked. It'd be on national headlines tonight.
Gotta love those transition oop attempts here, as we'll get one final stoppage for some substitutions.
A little more oop than alley, though, there.
Take a look at this again. Couldn't
So
quite get
close.
the elevation. Baker inside to McNair. In some traffic, up and under, nothing there.
3 white shirts around him. They have adjusted big time on him in the second half.
Three-pointer can tie the game. Nash fakes out his defender, puts a hand back in his face, though, and he leaves it short.
Like the use of the shot fake. Believe me, when you're as slow as I was, that was my friend. It was a big possession with 2 minutes.
McNair trying to add to his total. He already has a lot today, and it's a tie-up in the arrow. Going to favor the West, the officials indicate.
Jacob Seward of Clarksville with some outstanding defense that time on McNair.
Tornada along the baseline. 2 minutes to go. Nash in transition from the logo again.
That's the way they shoot him in Borden.
He has hit 4 three-pointers today, and just like that, it is a tie ball game. Baker, no look pass to McNair, and he's fouled by 11 underneath. And since we're 97 seconds away from the end of regulation, why don't you apprise us of the overtime rules again?
The first overtime is 3 minutes, with a second overtime reverting to sudden death. A team must win by 2, but remember all those games you had in the backyard when you're playing your brother, and that's what you're going to have in the overtime, the second overtime.
Well, welcome to the Indiana communities thriving along the I-69 corridor, offering recreation, sports, arts, and culture. Welcome to Davies County, and yes, you are in the right place. Log on to discoverdavies.com and wearedaviescounty.com for more information. Kasem Nash cannot be stopped.
And we have a lead change.
And just like that, we have another lead change.
31 points for Malachi McNair.
That is a heck of a performance in any environment. Lovin off the glass, and he'll draw the foul.
You know, we talked about that kind of jokingly, but it's really not out of the realm of possibility that this is one that could go down to the sudden death.
So here's Noah Lovin. He makes his first foul shot. He is now 4 of 5 at the line today. Rather, he is 4 of 7 at the line today. I was misreading my unofficial stats in front of me.
That's 20 for him.
He has had a big game. And Lovin hits both foul shots, some clutch ones there, as that will give the lead back to the East. Dunham kicks it back out to Baker. Baker looking for McNair, stolen away here by Wyatt Zellers.
Zellers with a huge turnover.
Here is Nash. And now the fouling will begin here as Baker will put Nash at the line to try and give the West another opportunity here to get this lead back. It would certainly be a little disappointing knowing that you came back from a 13-point lead and couldn't quite close the job here in these final minutes.
They have a few fouls to give.
Again, 10.
Oh, my.
And that is a costly turnover by Zellers. And that gives the West the opportunity to reclaim the lead.
No shot clock in this game. And I can't see it happening, but if this was a high school game, it would go down to the final shot.
Dunham lets it go anyway. And a foul underneath as Zellers comes down with the rebound.
That's only the 7th team foul. And it is 1-1. They're saying it's 1-1 now. So even if both these shots are hit, it's a one-possession ball game.
So they're doing it true college rules here. And so it is not a 1-1, it appears. They are going to take the ball out here since the ball, I think, is probably because the foul occurred on the other end of the floor. Full court press here from the West.
Well, it is on the 10th foul. No shots, and I just checked the rule. No shots until the 10th foul.
Regardless.
And the next foul from the East would send the West to the line, but there's only 8 fouls by the West.
15 seconds left. And now another foul from the West.
You know, that's not really good for the West right now. They wouldn't mind getting the East to the free throw line and make them hit so they get the ball back. As it is, they got to have a takeaway.
Limited time to do it, though. Full court press here from the East, and still it goes out of play, and it will remain with the East off the inbound.
But it only took about 0.3 of a second off on that, and that was the 10th foul.
And so now it is a 1-1, so we walk it back the full length of the court, and it will be Kasem Nash, who, and there is certainly nobody else you would want at the line here if you're the East, because he was an 86% foul shooter at Borden. And that is a school record for career foul shooting percentage at 83%. So he is as reliable as anybody.
18 points on the afternoon and has hit 5 3-point shots.
So Nash, as you might expect, he hits both of them.
19 points for the young man out of Borden with 14.3 seconds. We're going to have to wait a moment.
And so now we actually get a little bit of a breather here, and so we will actually take a quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. 14 seconds left to go here on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Well, we had a rare timeout for some strategy here in this ball game, and certainly no time as any right here, as it is a 3-point ball game, 14 seconds left to go. Alongside Walt Ferber, I'm Kurt Darling. It comes down to this here.
Well, and I'm looking out on the floor for the West, and the players I see out there are all good 3-point shooters. And that guy with it right now would probably be the guy to take the shot.
But Dunham instead goes inside. That cuts it to 1, and now a timeout going to be called by the West. And mind you, this is the second timeout. You only get 2 per half.
You can, now though, if you're the West, you can foul immediately. You lengthen the game a little bit but you know, it's one of those things that's back and forth. I'm going to say the East is probably going to get the ball in the hand of Caden Nash, who is only an 86% free throw shooter.
Only.
So this is good stuff here. But you've got a number of guys that can hit. as I'm looking out there with the players on the floor, you know Josiah Dunham can hit them from downtown. Connor O'Quinn out of Bloomington North, Malachi McNair, who has blasted it from downtown. You got all these fellas that can hit, and
so now you got a foul here.
Guess who's got the ball?
It'll be Kasem Nash. So Kasem Nash, he was virtually silent in the first half, only hitting 1 3. He has since exploded, hitting 4 more here in this second half, along with a bucket inside as well as 2 foul shots, and he'll have 2 more here.
I got a chance to watch him. We had a high school day over at Oakland City University, and he did well. Also got a chance to see Josiah Dunham that day.
By the way, in a game this past season when he scored 51 points, did Kasem Nash. That was against Eastern Pekin. He became a 1,000-point scorer, but also in that game, he scored the game's first 24 points all by himself.
Well, he's got 20 right now here in the All-Star game.
And make it 21. He is 4 for 4 at the line.
Got to have a 3.
6 seconds to do it here to try and force overtime for the West. Here is Baker. Baker is fouled in transition, and a little bit of strategy right there by the West.
That is
by
really,
the East.
That is really smart, because the best you're going to do is 2 here. Boy, you got some strategery going on.
And it's foul shots. So this puts Baker at the line for an automatic 2, and so now you may get the opportunity of possibly getting an intentional miss on one of these to try and get a putback.
That's very possible.
So Baker rattles home the first foul shot.
It's what I was best at foul shooting, the miss.
The miss. Baker, though.
I see a doink here, though. I see him going for the front of the rim, and they've got a couple of bigs there. You've got Dunham.
And there you see, but unfortunately they're going to call. You have to hit rim if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say you shoot for the front of the rim and try to zip it off the front of that.
And so that's a delay of game, an automatic turnover back to the East.
That's going to make it hard.
Long pass up, Tornado comes away with it, and he's either fouled or they called a traveling violation on Tornado as he came down with the ball. Oh my goodness.
Now
so a couple of tough breaks here for the West.
Paul Arvin was right on top of it. We're going to see that with our great camera work.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that is a traveling. Good call by the officials.
Not in the NBA.
That three-pointer at the buzzer is going to count there by Lovin, and that brings us to the end of the ball game. So it was a little tense there at the end, but the East holding on despite a fierce comeback from the West in this one. Final score, 104-99. Well, let's give some accolades here, shall we, Mr. Ferber, as our blue-collar player of the game presented by Boilermakers Local 374. Become a Union Boilermaker and be on your way to a great career. Find out more when you log on to local374.org. Who does it belong to today, my friend?
Well, it's a family that I've known for a long time. You see him there, that's Andrew. Andrew Noblet. He ends up with 9 points, but a lot of rebounds. He's a blue-collar guy, a glue guy, lots of screens, lots of rebounds. And you see a big shot from him, a tray from his spot. So congratulations, Andrew Noblet.
Out of Jasper, averaged 15 points a contest this season, and he does a heck of a job in all facets of the game here today, as he is the blue-collar player of the game presented by Boilermakers Local 374. So now we give some more accolades here. As for the East player of the game presented by Discover Davies County, that is Kasem Nash. Heck of a ball game for him as he had an explosive second half.
21 second half points for Nash, add 3 to the first, and when the East had to come back, it was Nash that really got the job done.
He had a couple big three-pointers, but most of them coming here in this second half. Many of them from the logo, mind you, and in the corner as well, where he's really comfortable.
Yeah, and like I said, his father, the coach down there at Borden, You know, in the old days, they weren't the Braves. They called them the Berries in the 60s. I remember them. But, boy, I tell you what, they know how to play basketball. And Nash is one heck of a shooter.
We also have a player of the game to give for the West as well. And that's going to go to Malachi McNair. And, of course, rightfully so, he finishes with how many points by your scorebook?
31 points for McNair. And he kept him in the game when they were down in the first half. He had 14 first-half points and most of the points in the first quarter. And one of the big reasons Harrison had the year he did, and his coach Fleener's one of the coaches, is Malachi McNair, who you see with the flush. And this was some entertaining afternoon here at Hatchet House in Washington.
Indeed it was. Thanks to all the HBCA All-Stars, families, and friends for visiting Daviess County today. You are always welcome here, and there's always something new to discover. Visit Discover Daviess County and wearedaviesscounty.com to learn more. Well, Walt Ferber, it's been an excellent day of basketball here for both on the girls and boys ends here, and couldn't think of a better way to close out the high school season than right here inside the Hatchet House.
I've been looking forward to working with you for a long time, partner. It has certainly been a pleasure today, and the ISC crew's the best. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for letting me join in today.
And speaking of our ISC Sports Network crew, special thanks to our director, Jordan Shue, as well as Elijah Mash and Brian Pierce on the cameras. Everybody doing an excellent job today as well. Well, that'll do it for us here from inside the Hatchet House for live coverage of the HBCA All-Star Games. For Walt Ferber, I'm Kurt Darling, saying so long till next time. You have been watching high school basketball here on the ISC Sports Network.